What were some of your biggest accomplishments?
I would say probably developing, helping develop a lot of programs and leagues for the underserved community. One of the things that I helped develop also was a youth basketball program called the Intensity Basketball Program. It just, and right now I have over 100 kids involved in the club basketball program. I help develop and enhance also a basketball league, which we serve over 1,000 kids, and that's all just designed to do things positive in the community and keep youth off the streets.
What was your happiest and saddest memory?
Probably my happiest memory is when I graduated from college. I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. And my saddest was probably the death of my father, who died a couple years ago on Christmas Day.
If you could change anything about your experience in the community, what would it be?
Probably my background, how I grew up. I didn't realize how the decisions I made as a youth would impact the challenges I have as an adult. I have overcome a lot, and I have had some successes as an adult, but it was, 10 times harder just for me to get my foot in the door in the community, because I had to gain the community's trust that I would be a productive member of society. So if I could change anything, I most definitely probably would change my childhood and the decisions I made as a youth.
What would you change about your class?
About my class? What class?
High school.
We have to edit that. What would I change about my high school experience or my high school class?
It just says class.
Well, I guess if I could change anything about my high school experience, probably I had an experience here in this community in the Dubuque, Iowa for a year and a half, where I experienced racism at a level that I had only seen on TV and the movies when I lived here. I was threatened, often called names, almost on a daily basis. People would yell stuff out the windows, calling me names. And psychologically, that really caused me to struggle. A lot of anger build up and emotions, just because you watch movies on the civil rights movement and you see people mistreated, but to actually experience it in the late, in the late 1980s or the early 1990s, I didn't think that could exist. So if I could change anything, I most definitely would change that, because those negative experiences, those racial slurs, the many adults as I was a youth that approached me the way that they did really impacted me psychologically, and it took me a while to get over it.
What are your plans for the future?
I actually, for the future, I hope to get involved in prison outreach, in ministry. I would love to help develop a program to help the recidivism rate of inmates that return back to prison. I would love for that program also to help provide training and education and job opportunities for the inmates, so that it helps them become a productive member of society and and not return back to the correctional facilities.
In 20 years, what is one thing you want people to remember?
Probably, I want people to remember that. I want people to kind of study my background and where I came from and how hard it was, and how even a inner city kid that kind of grew up the way that I did, I want people to know that you can overcome it. It is possible, and that you can do things great on this earth, even though you may grow up in a difficult situation. And so I would love for my story to be told to all kinds of young men throughout the country, so that they can be encouraged and know that no matter how bad your situation is, you can make it.
What advice would you give African Americans in this community?
Swallow your pride and come together and unify. Seek others' interests before your own. And as a result, everybody's interests will be served. If us as a community will take a servant's approach, then I think that our community as a whole can become healthier, can become our youth and our families can grow mentally, as well as spiritually, and as well as educationally, if we swallow our pride, work together, and help one another.
That's it.